Man, this upgrade is so cool. Like, I'm honestly very surprised that we're not going to be talking about it on the episode today.
What do you mean? We are talking about it on the episode today. That's like all we're talking about.
Well, I mean, like, this is the episode where we're doing Monster Kitchen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, with cereal.
No, we're making edible slime.
What about the theme of the episode?
It's ethereals.
Oh, okay, I think I see what happened here.
Did you think it was eat cereal?
I mean, it still could be. I also want to. Happy Monstering! And welcome to the latest episode of My Singing Monsters Live. Oh, no, keep it around. I think I'm going to continue snacking on this eat cereal. To the latest episode of My Singing Monsters Live, episode 26, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, and it's a very special episode.
It is a very special episode. I'm very excited. I am Monster Handler Matt.
And I am Monster Handler Sydney.
Sydney, here you are in front of everyone. Usually you're toiling behind the scenes in our chat, moderating, fielding questions, interacting with the community, but every once in a while you get to sit up here at the desk, and I know I feel very fortunate whenever you're here because you get to share all of your monster knowledge, and as the official bio-smith of among the monster handlers, it's always good to get your insight, especially for today's topic, which is going to be ethereals.
Yes, not eat cereal.
Not eat cereal, although this is pretty good.
It is pretty good.
I'm gonna continue munching on it as we go through. And, of course, as advertised, we also have something very special planned today, which is a preview of the upcoming My Singing Monsters Composer Ethereal Update 1.2.
Yes.
So that's very exciting. So we'll get to that in a little bit. But, of course, we always start every episode of My Singing Monsters Live with a couple of special shout-outs, and we talk about the giveaways that happen on each episode. So at the beginning of each episode of My Singing Monsters Live, we do a subscriber giveaway. And the way that works is that because we're hosted right here on Twitch, is the platform that My Singing Monsters Live appears on, you can opt to subscribe to our channel, and you get a free subscription. I believe if you're an Amazon Prime member, you get
Amazon Prime members get a Twitch Prime subscription that you can use for free on a channel.
Which would
so
be
why not use
ours, of course. Yeah. And so among our subscriber user body, we draw a random name each episode to win a special prize, and you don't even need
have to be in the
that's
chat.
right. You don't even need to be actually tuned into the particular episode. It's a way of, making sure that you have an opportunity to win something cool, even if you're not able to make every single episode of My Singing Monsters Live. Yeah. So, what do we have on the docket for today's prize, Sydney?
So today's prize is an ethereal of this subscriber's choice.
Ooh.
Very fitting.
Yes, and I believe we're saying that it is an ethereal that could be a single or a double element monster. Yes. Notable just because the particular promotion that's going on this weekend. We've got another breeding bonanza happening this weekend, and the breeding bonanza is specified to the single element.
Yes.
Ethereal monsters.
And Matt, what happens during an ethereal breeding bonanza?
What happens during an ethereal breeding bonanza is that your breeding chances for Ghast, Grumpire, Rebro, Geode, and Humbug are increased by 500%.
Wow.
Now, that's a lot. Ethereals are still very hard to come by.
Yeah, very tricky to breed.
And very coveted by the monster community, but...
They're slippery customers.
Exactly. That's a very good way to describe them.
Slippery.
But this particular weekend, you have boosted chances to breed them. So now's your time to light those wishing torches, maybe cooperate with some friends of yours to make sure that you've got mutual torch lighting happening. Maybe finally splurge on those diamond enhanced upgrades for your breeding structure and your nursery, because now's the time to really go for those ethereals if you haven't already.
It really is the time.
So who's our winner? Have we made the draw?
We have made the draw.
We've made the draw.
And let me just say, they have a really great username because the subscriber winner this week is That Dandy Do.
Hey, congratulations, That Dandy Do. So let us know which ethereal you'd like to receive.
Send us a whisper message that tells us which ethereal you'd like, single or double element.
That's right.
And your friend code for My Singing Monsters.
That's right. /BBBID. And that's the way that you're going to be able to receive your prize.
That's the the way.
You'll get the prize. Always an opportunity to sing here on My Singing Monsters Live because, of course, music is a huge part of the monster world, a huge part of what powers us through the day and what engages us in a world of creativity. Right? This is engagement.
Yes.
So,
definitely true.
So, the topic of today is ethereals. Now, ethereals are interesting because they, the very first ethereal that was released, you may know, is...
Gas?
That's correct. It was Ghast, sort of the poster monster for all future ethereals.
The first ethereal you really get the chance to get, right? Because Gas is available on Plant Island.
That's right. Yeah. And he was also the first ethereal monster to be released back in, I think it might have been May 2013.
Wow.
So we're coming up on Ghast's 6th birthday this month, I believe.
Ghast was born the year I graduated high school. Big year.
That is a pivotal moment both for My Singing Monsters and for monster handler Sydney herself. And the interesting thing, of course, is that at that time, it was only available on Plant Island because Ethereal Island had not yet been released in My Singing Monsters. Notably, and I always thought that this was sort of interesting the way it rolled out, Rebro came before Grumpire. It went Ghast,
that is
then
interesting.
Rebro, back to Grumpire.
So it skipped Cold Island.
That's right, it skipped Cold Island entirely.
Interesting.
Rebro was the second ethereal to be released. Now they were in close sequence, one to another, but yeah, I always thought that was sort of a peculiarity of the ethereals. And then of course we had Grumpire released thereafter, and then Ethereal Island debuted on the first anniversary of My Singing Monsters. So the game was turning 1, and that was our big September update for 2013. And at that point, 3 new hybrids among the available 3 single element monsters were available, and those were Wisp, Nebulab, and Oraculele. So those were our first 3 double element monsters. And those monsters still, I think, for me, represent the core, the essence of Ethereal Island.
When I think of ethereals, I definitely think Ghast and Wisp.
Yes,
those first 2 that come to mind.
those 2 are very iconic, if you will.
Yes.
But delving into the lore for a quick second of Ethereal Island, we've established, of course, that it is a pocket dimension of the main reality. Yeah, get in there, girl. It is in a pocket dimension of the main reality of the monster world. And interestingly enough, you know, we over the years we've learned a lot about the relationship between singing monsters and the colossal island hosts. Now, what's interesting about Ethereal Island is that, for all intents and purposes, there's a colossal on that island. That there are the eyes, there are the ears, but many-eyed. There's lots of different eyes, sort of arachnid in its sort of optical distribution. But we're not sure specifically if that colossal's experience is related at all to the dissolution of the continent. Way back when, in monster prehistory, during the end of the Dawn of Fire. We certainly know, at least at the time of this episode, that the first signs of any sort of ethereal activity within the monster world seem to really pick up after the dissolution of the continent. There's not necessarily much evidence to suggest that ethereals were around before then. So a theory of mine, again, not proven, but again from a timeline standpoint, I wonder if in some form one of the colossals, because there are many that govern the world of My Singing Monsters. I wonder if one, sensing the impending doom of the continent, actually sort of made a break for it and went into...
A coward.
I don't know if they were cowardly so much as they were seeing the writing on the wall, and they were like, you know what, I think I gotta get out of here.
Saving their own hide.
Well, and you know what's interesting, at that point, at least so far as we know, there were no ethereal monsters yet, so it could be that colossal sort of took it upon themselves to, I don't know, inspire new life in the new pocket dimension that they had discovered. Exactly, but keep the scale of it much smaller, because the pocket dimension of Ethereal Island is much, much smaller. So, I don't know what that Colossal's agenda is specifically, or what their specific history is. Of course, most of the Colossals that we know of, with the exception of Composer Island, actually, which every once in a while peeks its colossal eye open and sort of looks around, possibly a side effect of existing on the seam, the relationship between, or the sort of bridge between the human world and the monster world. But most of the Colossals that we know of are still in a state of deep slumber.
Right.
So it's not exactly possible for us to interview them. And also it would be sort of hard to interview a Colossal. I mean, like, the size of the recording equipment that you'd need for the interview to actually work would be enormous itself.
You need one heck of a recording studio.
Yes, you would. You'd need a gigantic recording studio. Now,
the biggest.
if there was a man for the job, I'd say it was Monster Handler Eric who's operating the camera today. Everyone say, "Hi,
Hi,
Monster
Eric."
Handler Eric."
Yeet!
There he is.
Yeet.
What a
Monster-letus.
sound to emerge from our camera operator today. But as we all know, Eric is quite skilled in the world of videography. He's our resident #1 video boy, I believe is how we refer to him.
It is.
So if we were ever in a position to be able to interview a Colossal, I would definitely have him on board as part of the team. Maybe the gaffer, maybe the best boy, lighting operator. I don't know.
I have a question for the
Yes.
chat. So tell us in the chat, if you could interview a Colossal, what would you ask them?
Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah.
And if you're not in the chat, but you're tuned in some form or another, but still want to chat with the Monster Handlers, make sure that you include hashtag my streaming. Did I say hashtag? Hashtag
Eat cereals.
my streaming monsters.
Oh
See,
my
I'm all
goodness.
messed up.
Hashtag
it's
my
the cereal.
streaming monsters on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We check it all out. That's also where we'll grab fan art from you guys if you want to share your fan art.
And if we
with
don't
us.
get to the question this week, we might revisit it in a
Yeah, we
future
keep
episode.
a huge document with all the questions you guys ask, and every week we.
I would say laundry list, but this is a lot more exciting than laundry.
Yes.
Yes.
Speaking of laundry list, a couple updates that I forgot to share at the beginning.
Oh, okay, let's hear them.
Happy belated birthday to Midnight and Har239.
Oh, well, happy birthday to you. That's it, because it's belated.
Yeah.
Don't
wanna get too overboard.
Yeah, because then otherwise your birthday, you'd need to go above and beyond that and come up with the extended happy birthday song. And also, I think for legal reasons, we're not to sing that song. I'm not sure if those rights have been returned. But anyway, that's a whole other point.
Speaking of singing a song,
Yes.
do you think maybe we should jump into
Ooh.
Composer?
Yes, and it's not eat cereal.
Eat cereal. Oh no, he's got it
It's
all
not
twisted.
eat cereal. It's Ethereal preview
Yes.
of the update. So, my handy partner in crime here, Monster Handler Eric, is going to queue up the build that we have ready to go to show you today. And correct me if I'm wrong, Eric, but I am going to be able to potentially make use of your headphones in order to hear what it is that I'm doing.
That is right.
That is correct. Okay, so while we're setting up, I don't know.
Tell me, Matt, which Ethereal are you most excited to compose with today?
I'm trying to think if I voiced any Ethereals. I don't think I did. I think that among the Ethereals, which are some of my favorite monsters, I don't think I actually have a horse in that race. Or
A monster in that race?
are there any equine monsters? Boscus is more like a deer.
Some hooves. Who has hooves?
Yes, there are definitely a few hooved monsters out there. We know Yule is a hooved monster. And you know that expression, if you hear hooves, think Yules, not Boscuses.
Yeah, that old
Boskai?
expression.
I don't know what the plural of Boskai is. I suppose I should know that. I'll have to ask the herd of Boscus that's always rampaging in the server room. So
Now, how
I'm
do you
going
make
to
that?
remove my hat, and I'm going to give it to you
Oh, do I get to wear
for
the
the
hat?
episode. Yeah.
Do I want to wear the hat?
I think you do.
Okay. Oh, it's so big. It's a big hat.
Well,
Am I wearing it correctly?
you've got
Alright,
a
great.
small dainty head. So it's my big melon, I think, that is what occupies it. Yeah, there you go. You can really see the scale of it when you sort of set the dimensions like that. So we've got we've got it open.
We've got
We've got
Here it is.
we've got the build open. We've got it ready to go. So as you can see here, oh, I'm already so excited.
Me too.
We've got Ghast here. So just out of excitement's sake, I'm going to Oh, right. I need to open. I'm clicking in the Streamlabs. No, I'm going to be operating it here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look here, and of course we have all of the natural monsters. We've got the instrumental rares in the mix there as well, and then we've got, starting with Ghast, look at this, whole new pages devoted to the ethereal monsters that have been added for this update of version 1.2. Now, as we've previously mentioned, it's coming out this month.
Yes.
May 2019.
Yes.
So that's very exciting. But then, of course, look at this. We got Socks. We got Kazillion. We've got Oraculele. And then the one final page, these two chilling on their own, Dragong and Feng Prey, which I think Dragong might have come out before Gelbilly. The order there was sort of a little whipsy-dipsy, hoobly-woobly. But here we are. So, just because Ghast featured prominently in our marketing, in our teaser for this update to date, I'm going to go back, and I've already got Ghast selected, so I'm going to get started. Do you like as well that I've titled this song Episode 26?
I do like that.
See, I was very prepared today. I wanted to make sure that everything was ready to go. So,
I've got to take off this hat. It's just so big on this.
Is it too warm? It also, I also find as well, it's hard to sort of lean your head back.
Hitting my back.
It catches. So I think it's good for your posture.
Maybe so.
But not exactly for your comfort. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna start with Ghast. All right, are you ready? Oh, I'm excited. Here we go. Whoa, very exciting. This is some of the first live footage that we have of the update
Now,
in
something
use.
we saw in the trailers that Ghast, I believe, can do long notes.
That's right, notes of length. So let's try that now. Oh, there we go. We're going to extend it. And I can't remember if I've... Okay, good. It is just Ghast. So let's, in the meantime, take a look and see what the stage looks like. So for this update, the composer stage is intact. No parts have been added. There are a few small modifications that we made in order to make sure... Oh, that's going to get annoying very quickly. Did you know that you could... Wait a minute. Let me zoom in.
What's up? Oh,
Okay. Well, so
Still
this
in progress.
This is a special preview for a reason. We're obviously still working on stuff. I'm going to go mute this other Ghast, but you can see here it is performing its note of length. But as we've previously noted here, we can see that accidentally the sprite sheet is using the Ghast's hand instead of its plasmic orbs. So bear with us. This is a first preview look, and we've still got a few bugs, a few kinks to iron out.
All of you, I know there's a lot of people really impatient for this update, and
but
totally got it. Very excited.
These things take time to make sure we got it right for you guys.
Just so you know, we don't just keep the finished update from you. We want to release it as soon as it's ready. So that's why.
This is a singular moment in time, though. Look at those rotating hands.
That's pretty great.
You know, it's sort of morbid. Although maybe Ghasts can sort of like I don't know, appear and like sort of disappear. Maybe it's their intangibility.
I think it's the hands of other Ghasts and other dimensions
that are reaching through.
out.
But what happened to the plasmic orbs? I don't know. That's really something. So there we go. So as we mentioned, the composer stage is pretty much unchanged for this particular update. Our artists did a great job of making sure that we found the real estate for all of those ethereal monsters and ethereal monsters that can perform notes of length. We did snuggle them in quite tightly to the composer stage, but they're still there. Okay, so enough of Ghast. So there's Ghast and its plasmic paws. But let's take a look. Let us know in the chat as well which monsters you'd like to see and hear from
Yeah, we're fielding
today.
Suggestions.
But let's take a look at a few more of the monsters that were featured in our preview video.
Okay.
You know what? No, because we already know what they sound like.
Let's do the ones that people want to hear.
Let's do something else. So let's do Grumpire. Now Grumpire is a favorite of mine just because it's voiced by
Chris, who was on the show.
Who appeared on our Meet the Monster Handler Artist Edition a few episodes ago.
And actually, if you watch our Making of My Singing Monsters video on our YouTube channel, you can hear Chris sort of do a mini version of his Grumpire part.
That's right,
Yeah.
a very hoarse, gravelly voice. Let's see if it has translated here into the context of My Singing Monsters composer. It goes, Baga, Baga.
I gotta hear it.
Great.
It's different for each.
That's right. So Grumpire has two different syllable sounds that it can make depending on where you place the notes on the staff.
This is
Down
our
here
first
below,
time playing with this this update.
Yeah,
too,
so of course we've been
we're discovering with you.
Yeah, we've been working on it, but this is as much a preview for us as it is for you, so it's very exciting. So down here below, why don't you listen for a second,
I'd love to.
and then I'll play for you a couple of the different notes here. So
Okay.
there they go, and up here. So it's those two different syllables depending on what you want. And of course, if we hop over here into advanced mode, we can add sharps. We can add flats if we want to. We can make the notes natural, and we can manipulate both the time signature and the key signature.
Very helpful.
Yes, such musical things are helpful when it comes time to compose.
I think that's something here you go, I'll give it back
Thank
so you
you.
can compose. I think that's something really great that maybe not everyone knows about Composer,
Mm-hmm.
is that the app is really great whether you're a beginner with music or whether you're really advanced with music.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole advanced mode that Matt has open right now, and then if you don't know a lot about time signatures and stuff like that, you can hide that all away and just like play on the keyboard or put notes on the staff and just have fun.
Yeah, there are also as well, above and beyond that, if we go to the options button here, there are some help menus here that let you
Tutorials.
know how to use the app, how to take a look at different sections of the app and understand. You can also replay the tutorial here if you haven't played My Singing Monsters Composer in a while and you'd like to get back into it for this particular update with all these new sounds at your disposal. So the app does provide all of that for you.
Very
and
helpful.
and shows you all that cool stuff. Okay, so we've done Grumpire.
1 second.
Eric.
Can I borrow the mic?
Yes.
The mouse. I'm just going to adjust.
Eric is commandeered.
the volume a little bit here.
Okay, was
Well-
it too loud?
It was a little too quiet, I think.
It was too quiet.
We'll
So
see. We'll see if this is better.
we've
Okay.
turned it up.
Give us feedback in the chat on the volume and stuff.
I'm glad that there is sound in the first place, though. I know that sometimes the mechanics of getting something like this set up are quite a feat,
Yes,
technically. But
Eric
Eric
works
is
wonders.
But Eric is more than capable of on the job. So let's take a look now at Bellowfish.
We got a lot of questions about Bellowfish today to cover. A lot of people sent in questions about Bellowfish.
I love Bellowfish, so I'll be
Great
happy
monster.
to answer them. So let's have a listen. So of course we have here the note of length extendability option for Bellowfish. I love as well seeing the ethereal eggs done in
Yes,
the composer art
very
style as well.
cool.
That sort of posterized, simplified look and
Very
feel.
poppy. I
Mhm.
really like the
Yeah, I really like them
the
as
composer
well.
eggs. Yeah, I see some people asking about that. So while you're working on this, maybe I can talk about it. A lot of people asking, are the ethereals going to be coming to Composer Island in My Singing Monsters? So at the moment, we do not have any plans to add the ethereals to Composer Island. So Composer Island, there's only so much that we can put into it without the size of the game starting to balloon. So that's kind of part of why we made My Singing Monsters Composer. In this app, we can add a whole bunch more stuff, a whole bunch more songwriting tools, a whole bunch more monsters, and that's part of what makes My Singing Monsters Composer special.
Yeah, and a worthwhile addition to your sort of My Singing Monsters app repertoire.
Exactly. So, unfortunately, that means we can't always add the things that we're adding to My Singing Monsters Composer into Composer Island on My Singing Monsters, but we do hope that you'll give My Singing Monsters Composer a try.
Mm-hmm. Eric's got more edits to make. How's it
Working his
going?
magic.
Even better?
Try that. We'll see.
Okay.
All right. So let's take a look back at our composer stage. So I was thinking about this as we were preparing for this episode. We have Composer Island in My Singing Monsters. I think we should officially sort of title this Composer Stage.
Composer stage.
Because it's not an island, it is more of a performance
help not
venue.
confuse the
yes,
two.
to perform some distinction between the two. So henceforth, we'll call this Composer Stage.
Composer stage.
So let's hop over. I've dropped the tempo here so we can enjoy the monsters perform a little more slowly. Grumpar's really going for it.
I like Bellowfish's little
And
dance.
there's Bellowfish. Here are our 3 monsters performing.
Beautiful. Ooh, I really like.
It sounds like a fugue.
I really like when Bellowfish retracts its arm. Slowly. Very cool. Very cool.
Especially that note of length.
Yeah, you got it.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go back. I'm going to turn off these other Bellowfish notes, which is as simple as tapping on the notes themselves. And then I'm going to extend this note very far. Whoops. There we go. I'm going to drag it. I, of course, am using the computer build.
Yes, if you're wondering why Matt has a keyboard here, this is our special developer version of My Singing Monsters.
And it helps us when we're streaming being able to cast it and to show it at greater size and with greater fidelity than we would otherwise.
You got it.
So I want it. So take a look now and see Bellowfish holding this note. It's gonna...
I can hardly wait. Oh.
Here we go.
Very good. Oh, look at the crystal shaking and it's
What a sound. He's a smooth operator, that Bellowfish. All right, let's take a look at one of the other monsters on this page. Let's take a look at Jelbilly.
Yes, please.
And...
Dane.
Dang.
Dane.
Dang.
Dane. Dane.
Ooh, we're sort of creating an ominous sound here. We've got...
Dane. 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 Dane.
Oh.
Dang, 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 dang. And
Dane. Dane.
I did have the opportunity to preview some of Jelbilly's animations earlier today.
Oh,
So
are they very exciting?
let's take a look. Where is Jelbilly? Ah, there he is, beside our sleeping ghast with notes of length. We'll have to wait while Bellowfish plays that
long note.
agonizingly long note of length. Here we go. Take it away.
Dane. 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 Dane.
Very bouncy.
I like the bouncy quality of Jelbilly. You might have just said that, but I am wearing these headphones.
I did say that. I did say
Aha! And let's take a look. We've also got
Can
Humbug.
I make a request?
Yes.
I'd love to hear Wisp,
All right.
if that's okay.
Let's take
I know
a look
Wisp
at,
was in the trailer, but...
Yes, but let's take a look at Wisp. So here we go.
Way.
The plaintive cries of a wisp on a golden afternoon on Ethereal
But
Island.
I think you mean an ethereal afternoon.
Ah, yes.
Way.
Right, because otherwise it'd be a
The
golden afternoon
on
would take
Gold
place on
Island.
Gold Island.
Yeah,
You're right.
duh.
Way.
So then here's Wisp. Let's have Wisp
Way.
perform
Another very
Way.
pretty
Scale.
egg.
Way. Way.
Wisp has a very nice egg.
Way.
Always nice to get more vocals in the mix.
I agree, especially another feminine sounding voice like Wisp's in the mix.
Very pretty.
Has a very distinct quality to it. Let's hop back to composer stage and take a look. Where's Wisp?
Oh!
Well, here's another one of those bugs. There's Wisp is
Yeah, it's a
upside
feature.
down. It's a feature at this point, but
It's fitting for Wisp.
I believe it's. You're right. You know what?
Yeah.
As a sort of a specter, Wisp is another monster there that. There it is, swaying back and forth. Would you like to hear?
I would love to.
All right.
Thank you. Oh, just as she stops singing. Oh, I quite like Wisp's voice. I'll give it back to the composer. Now, I think you were going for Humbug next. Is that right?
That's right. I was. I had Humbug on the brain. So Humbug, I believe, is another monster that can perform notes of length
Looks
with
like
its
it.
sort of psychedelic guitar-ish sound. Oh, I really like this one. Here, I'll hold that note, and then I'll also do some awesome.
Oh, that sounds great.
Yeah, this one's really.
Yeah, this
Really
is going to be
good.
a good one. I was very excited for... Well, I'm excited for all the Ethereals, but
Yes.
some of them very excited for. Humbug, I know a lot of people very excited for.
Ooh, yeah.
Also, a lot of people very excited for Socks.
Oh, yes,
Saw that.
Socks is going to sound great.
A nice
And of course,
jazzy...
yes, we had an opportunity to sort of preview what Socks will sound like in our teaser video that's on our
Yes.
YouTube channel. So for the time being, I'm just going to turn off Wisp just so we can hear Humbug on its own at the sheet music level.
Sounds pretty great. I can't hear.
It lends itself well to some air guitar, although we know that the resident air guitar specialist in the monster world is Atmos.
Of
But
course.
let's take a look. Ah, there they are up there.
Hanging out.
It looks
that's
like
a nice little-
Gast and Bellafish are gonna throw down. They're gonna
Especially when
fight,
Bellafish
but we've
does
got
this.
a Humbug on either side. Yeah, Humbug's
Humbug's egging him on.
Yeah, and Bellafish is like, "Hey, come on, guys! What do you got?" But of course, as we know, the monsters always get along
Never fight.
and are non-violent. You know what? I'm gonna sleep. I'm going to put
Yeah, I think that might be it for
Bellafish
best.
to sleep, and then
Very
we'll take
sweet.
a look.
I
Here.
love the way its arms retract when it's sleeping. Very cute. Very nice.
Oh, and we've only done, how many have we done? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Only 5 of the ethereal sounds
Let's
we've
get
taken
to
a look
work.
at here. Now,
Fun break.
what?
Fun break.
Fung Prey. All right, let's
Great.
do Fung Prey. So, I am excited to confirm on this episode that we will be adding Ethereal Island as a sample song in the library with
Yay!
version 1.2.
That's so exciting.
And I will say that Fung Prey features prominently in that one, as it does on Ethereal Island as well. But Fung Prey has a beautiful sound that I absolutely love composing with. So let's take a look now at Fung Prey, another monster that can perform notes of length. Oh,
and Matt,
great.
can you tell people how they can tell that a monster can play notes of length from the monster select menu?
That's right. This is a feature that we actually just added in version 1.1.0, I believe. So
Okay.
our most recent update. If you take a look here at the monster select screen, which you can access just by tapping anywhere along the bottom here, the monster portrait, the name, or its egg, you can see that we added here
A
in the
little
little icon that appears beside the monster, the green arrow to indicate that it can't perform a note of length. For those of you
Very
who aren't
helpful.
as familiar with the different monster sounds, especially for the new sounds that the rares perform, it is always handy to have a quick listen and tap on the note icon just to get a quick preview of what that monster sounds like. So if we listen to Rebro for a second, it's
Very
got that
helpful.
percussive quality. Or if we take a listen to Nebulob, it's got that sort of a sitting in a tin can sort of quality. Did you like?
Excuse me.
Yeah, you know. I've always thought that Nebulob is a bit of a space oddity.
Oh, of course.
So, back to Fung Prey. So, we've got this note here. Let's extend it. And let's add a couple of notes.
Oh, that sounds very pretty. I can hear
Yes.
in your headphones.
It's like
Very
you can't play a wrong note with Fung
No,
Prey. It
it's
just
very
sounds
elegant sounding
so
monster.
lovely.
I think a lot of the ethereals are that way.
Mhm.
Very elegant sounds.
I agree. That otherworldly quality. So here we have Fung Prey sort of bopping along. There's the beautiful note of length and the head cap lighting up when it performs. Love that. Now, over here we've got a bit of an unfortunate situation
Oh no!
with Wisp being upside down, but that'll be rectified when the update comes out. And so every monster will have their opportunity to shine and will be in a free space, so to speak. All right, so that's about as much as I want to share today because I still want there to be some element of surprise when the update comes out. But thank you so much for tuning in and joining us for this very special preview of the update that comes out later this month. Now, I'm sure many of you are asking for a specific date.
Is it early May?
Is it late May? Is it mid-May? Is it the 1st of May? Well, we know it's not the 1st of May
Clearly
because
not.
that has come and gone. But as you can plainly see from both Gast and Wisp, we do still have a few.
Well, a few tweaks.
That's right. Some improvements to make sure that it's up to our very high quality standards for Big Blue Bubble and for the Monster Handlers. So we'll continue to work on those. We'll let you know as the date comes closer and as we're fully ready to share this with the world. But oh yeah, there's just a few more bugs left to squash, and then we'll be able to share all 15 ethereal monsters with
So
you in
exciting.
this update later this month. Oh,
Yeah.
very exciting. Okay, so at this time, Eric, I'll let you resume control of the mouse. Does that involve me handing back this keyboard to you? You've got your own.
We can just put it off to the
All
side.
right, we'll put that off to the side, and I will also hand back to you the headphones, and then put back on my hat.
Beautiful.
Oh,
Whoa.
some tangledness.
Some chord challenges here.
The final song that with all those monsters put together, it feels very much like an orchestra tuning up. It's like they're getting ready to perform a grand opus, a big piece, a big concerto, a symphony, if you will. But I can't wait to hear the songs that will be composed by the community with these brand new set of 15 sounds.
Tell us if you're planning on covering a song.
Mhm.
Tell us what song you're planning on covering with the Ethereals.
The other exciting thing, of course, about this update is that it gives you an opportunity to combine monsters that wouldn't normally interact or that would exist in the same space in the actual canon monster world. So,
That's
for
a very good
example, a Bogart and a Feng Prey, both stringed monsters, never really have an opportunity to interact in My Singing Monsters, and here in My Singing Monsters Composer, they will.
Speaking of monsters with similar sounds that interact, we have a question about that will be coming up.
Oh!
So what do you think? Shall we jump into questions?
Yes, I would love to answer some questions. The live Q&A that we do on every single episode of My Singing Monsters Live. And I've got my hat on, which is the font of all my knowledge. So, yes. Thank you
Great sound.
for the encouraging pat.
Would you like to tell people? How they can submit their questions?
Absolutely. So if you have a burning question to ask the monster handlers, make sure that you hop on to social media on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and include the hashtag MyStreamingMonsters. And that way, Monster Handler Sydney, who scours the internet searching for such questions, can put them all into one document, and then we use it on episodes of My Singing Monsters Live, and then we answer them and put to rest any concerns, questions, or queries.
Of course. Speaking of putting to rest some concerns,
Uh-huh.
and speaking of social media
Yes.
as well, I saw some people saying, asking us, have you made an official My Singing Monsters Amino account? Just so you guys know, we haven't made one yet, so if you see anyone saying that they're My Singing Monsters...
It ain't us.
Yeah, on any Amino community, it's not us. We do pop in there and check out all your awesome fan art, but we don't have an official account. So, beware of imitators.
Thank you for clearing the air. And clearing the ethereal air. Clearing the ether. I wanted to sort of go with the elemental. Anyway, never mind.
All right.
Bring on the questions, Sydney.
Okay, so we'll start with that question I was referencing earlier.
Okay.
Apenas Bekar
Uh-huh.
asks, what will be Rare Readling's reaction to Bellowfish? They have a similar instrument.
Well, that's a very good point. Now, of course, for My Singing Monsters Composer, we took rare monsters, the instrumental rares, and assigned them new sounds so that there'd be even more variety of sounds to use in the app. In terms of how they sound, they do sound distinct from one another. So you will.
Definitely.
So there isn't a doubling up there per se. They do sound distinct. Bellowfish's sounds a lot more, dare I say it, old world, romantic, baroque, if you will, and Rare Readling's accordion-like sound sounds a little more poppy, a little more high-pitched.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
So there is a distinction there.
Yeah. I'd say all the monsters are still quite distinct.
But like the comparison that I drew earlier between Bogart and Feng Prey, here too will be an opportunity for monsters in the magical creative dream space of My Singing Monsters Composer to interact for the very first time.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very neat.
It is cool. Next question about Bellowfish, beginning our spree of questions about
Okay,
Bellowfish.
all right, bring them on.
Trash Craft Payer asks, what does a Bellowfish look like without its suit? A naked Bellowfish.
Much like a fish.
I would expect that.
So we do have the monster handler, Eric, adjusting to make sure we look our best. Eric is always thinking of us. Isn't that nice?
It is nice.
Eric, are you coming back? Not right now. meaning when
Eric,
next?
come back.
When next will you sit in the hot seat here with me? Will that be next week?
Yeah, let's make it next week.
All right. Well,
Sounds good.
we'll make the plans now.
Now, if you don't see Eric next week, you can feel free to call his house and say, why aren't you on?
Right. It's just 555 M.
Eric's
S.
Yeah,
I forget.
555ericshouse.com.
I think that might be too many digits. But you know, there's only so many phone numbers out there. We gotta start adding digits, right? So, the question was...
Without its suit. Bellowfish
Without its suit, it looks very much like the fish. The organic parts of bellowfish are its head and its feet. It still has its organic feet, but the exosuit that it wears, or its mech suit, I should call it, I suppose, sort of encompasses its torso and its arms.
Now, the crystal that it has in its
That's
tummy,
right, that powers its suit.
that is part of the suit and not part of bellowfish. It's not like a cavern in bellowfish's tummy.
I don't think so.
Maybe a question for the artist that we can figure out.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
My impression was that it's part of the suit, but who's to say?
Maybe-
We don't go around taking off bellowfish's suit.
That's right, that would be rude.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta ask. You gotta be respectful of the monsters, especially when you're finding out about their fundamental nature. But you know what? It would make sense because, of course, bellowfish's elements are crystal and mech. That the crystalline part of it sort of powers the mech suit, and maybe the crystal is part of the organic part of the bellowfish. You know what? I'd never thought of it before. And you're right, we will have to follow up with the artists and sort of get their take on it.
Yeah, I like that.
And do a little bit more research. You know, diving into the aqua slime pools of Ethereal Island isn't exactly the most pleasant experience, but I've been prepared to do it just to corroborate whatever the artists say.
All right. One more question about bellowfish.
Okay.
Does bellowfish naturally or ethereally speak accordion, or does the sound require its suit?
I think it does naturally or ethereally speak accordion, but the suit sort of helps to amplify and refine the sound.
So a naked bellowfish would be very quiet. Perhaps
Yeah,
shy.
well, yes, and I think maybe it could use its gills, which I'm not sure if its gills are actually visible on the
Perhaps
suit,
covered by the suit.
but as a fishy monster, I assume they're there somewhere, and I think that it's the vibration of the gills that sort of produce the accordion sound, and then the mech suit just amplifies and sort of refines it. It's sort of like having a megaphone or a microphone in order to make sure that you can be heard.
Of course.
Yeah, so that's what I'd say.
All right. Another question about the ethereals. Night vibes at... Oh, and sorry, that last question was from Jordan Botelho 2. But this question is from Night Vibes, and they ask, is a rare Kazillion able to fly? Because, of course, rare Kazillion has some wings.
That's right, the winged rare Kazillion. And I'd have to double check, but I believe the wings...
I believe they're typically at rest.
They are at rest, and I'm not sure if I've ever actually seen them sort of in a flight mode.
My impression was that perhaps they were vestigial.
I think you might be right, or at most it might be able to coast on an updraft, but not necessarily achieve flight.
Sort of
on
like
it-
a
on
flying
its own.
squirrel.
Exactly.
Gliding.
Now I'm trying to picture a rare Kazillion, and correct me if I'm wrong, but a rare Kazillion actually substitutes out the tail for the wings.
I can find out for you. Let me bring up a picture here.
Now the other thing to consider, of course, as well, is that the Kazillion, isn't exactly a light
right.
monster. It's sort of bogged down by the fumes that it emits, be they the noxious fumes of a common Kazillion or the rather pleasant-smelling fumes of the rare variety. But I wonder if, with the absence of the tail, the monster is light enough to achieve better liftoff than it would if it was burdened with the tail. So maybe
we'll
there's
have to
something.
run some tests.
So maybe there's something going on there. Who knows?
All right, next question from E. Furcorn. How do ethereals enter other dimensions?
Ethereals enter other dimensions. I think it's just something that helps to characterize ethereals in the first place, that they interact with the world around them in unique ways that sort of harness their elemental affiliations. Ghast, as one of its sort of intrinsic abilities, is able to be intangible, but that makes it susceptible to accidental interdimensional slipstreams. So I think sometimes the dimension hopping that ethereals do, specifically the single element ethereals, is, at least as far as sort of an unperturbed natural state, sort of involuntary at times. They might be walking along and go, whoop, and then fall into a different dimension. But of course, older ethereal monsters, that is to say ones that have been fed up to level 15, can elect to teleport themselves to Ethereal Island,
Right.
their sort of forever home.
Right. Strimes Tweets 49 asks, do ghasts like pets the odd time? This, of
Well-
course, in reference to today's social post.
Yes.
Where I was accompanied, my monster was accompanied by a very cuddly ghast.
Yes, and that was purring up against.
Yes.
And if you noticed, my monster was quite aghast that he wasn't receiving the attention, but that instead you were. But I know that
Ghasts
you have
love
you have an affinity for living things. I think partly one of the reasons that makes you so adept at writing the bios is that you really understand all the organisms
I
around
am
you.
one with the monster.
That's right. You commune with nature, and that's what makes you especially well suited to that particular task. So yes, I would say ghasts like pets, but as I previously mentioned, it's sort of hard sometimes to actually pet them because it could be that your hand passes right through. It'll phase right through, and it's sort of a cold, chilly feeling once you're passing through a
That's
ghast.
so sad.
It's not sad.
They just want to be pets.
I know, but it's sort of hard. It's not as easy as you'd expect. Cats are a lot easier. Yes, please.
Snack?
I would love one.
All right. What do you think? How many more questions before we get to trivia?
Let's do one more, just because I'm taking a look at the time, and this is going to be a big episode for us.
Yes, we still have trivia to get to. Our big monster kitchen activity.
Ooh!
Monsterpieces.
Yeah.
So, all right, one more question. Let me make it a good one. Let me see here.
I will derive
Oh,
value and information from these. Go
eat
ahead.
cereal monsters.
Uh-huh.
So Lassume1 asks, this one I thought was very funny. Lassume1 asks, here's a question we have been asking for ages. Is Shrub a vocal or an instrumental monster? And then, I'm not sure that I fully understand this next part, but they say, in My Sea Monsters Composer, Shrub is categorized as a vocal, even though it has a rare variant in the game, and in My Sea Monsters Composer, the only rares released so far are instrumentals.
Okay, I think I'm following along.
I think I kind of am thinking that.
Shrub is interesting because the part that it performs can be classified both as vocal and as instrumental. It's using its mouth.
To make sort of an instrumental sound.
That's right. It's sort of beatboxing in and of itself is sort of doing your best to make your voice not sound like your voice, right? So I think because Shrub straddles the line here, I think it makes sense to, instead of picking a particular camp, just keep Shrub happy to sort of be able to oscillate, vacillate between the two. I always get oscillate and vacillate confused. Both end in L-L-A-T-E.
Well, we hope that answered your burning question.
No, there's one more question that I did see that I wanted to tackle really quickly, and it was the one that you and I were discussing
Okay,
earlier.
yes. So the question,
Just to sort of...
and we've gotten this question in a lot of different permutations.
Right, so we wanted to make sure that we actually address it.
So, Logan Peters, 89,
Uh-huh.
asks, if Cybops admire the Gelbilly and modify themselves to resemble them, how do adult Cybops in Dawn of Fire resemble the ones from the present My Sea Monsters? Do adult Cybops in Dawn of Fire even know about the Gelbilly?
A paradoxical situation
Yes.
here. So,
See a lot of questions about
short of some sort of time continuum disruption here, I'm wondering whether this is like a story or like a tradition that's been passed down through Cybop generations that maybe doesn't necessarily have as much truth to it as you'd think. So the only reason I bring that up is because when Cybop was first discovered in Dawn of Fire just earlier this year, we sort of were able to do a little bit of forensic detective work and see that the rare Cybops of the current day were referencing ancient cave drawings of early Cybops way back during the era of Dawn of Fire. But they don't look like that. It was just Cybops from Dawn of Fire sort of imagining upgrades to themselves. Because, Cybops, much more than mere gizmos, deep thinkers, right? They have a lot of imagination. They sort of think of all possible options before them. They're constantly thinking. They're musing about the world around them. So I wonder if something similar happened here, where an ancient Cybop back in the era of Dawn of Fire sort of drew what sort of looked like a jelbilly, and it's assumed that that relationship existed way back then.
So a Cybop drew a picture. Later, Cybops thought, hey, that picture on the cave wall kind of looks like a jelbilly.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe our ancestors worshipped jelbilly?
Right, and that's sort of a tradition that has carried on. But the last sort of confusing piece of this puzzle is how was Cybop able to correctly predict what a jelbilly might look like if, as we discussed earlier in the episode, Ethereal Island and the Ethereals had not yet even come to be. So there is sort of a paradoxical element here.
Perhaps having visions of the future.
Yeah, who knows? Again, as you mentioned, they're deep thinkers, so it could be that they have some clairvoyance. I don't know.
Or it could be imagination. Or, Ethereals are jumping through dimensions. Maybe a jelbilly accidentally popped in briefly.
Long enough for a Cybop to go, whoa!
And then
I like the look of that.
Oops, wrong dimension, wrong time, see ya. And then they popped back out.
I think that's an equally valid theory. I don't know if we'll be able to sort of specifically close the book on that particular paradox today, but I did want to reference it just because we've gotten it as a question so many times.
Of course. All right, shall we do some rapid fire trivia?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Here we go. Now today we have 4 questions. I did 4 because the last one might be a bit of a longer.
Okay.
So, first of all, Logan Peters 89 asks, what group of monsters aren't vocals and share the same element? So it's a group of monsters of one element, and I believe what they're indicating is that none of them are vocals.
None of them?
Mm-hmm.
Of one element?
Mm-hmm.
There's a group of monsters that none of which are vocals?
I believe that's what they're indicating here.
Are you looking for a particular element?
Yes. And if I had to...
Off the top of my head, I'm gonna say... Well, no, that's not right.
if I had to give you a hint, I'd say it's relevant to the theme of this episode.
Oh, perhaps it's an ethereal element?
I don't know.
I'm going to say... Crystal.
Final answer.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes!
Winner, Ganya.
That was
Now, I
very
helped
quickly.
you along with that one.
Yes, you did. You really did.
I wanted you
But
to
that's
get it.
why
Isn't
I
that-
like it. That's why I like when you're on the show with me, Sydney. It's
I'm
because
a softie.
you glide into
Like a
the
rare
questions.
Kazillion.
That's
I
right.
glide.
Yes, coasting on the updraft of Ethereal Island.
Well, very good.
1 for 1. All right, what's
Let's see
next?
if you can keep it up. Quazuk MSN asks, what feature was released along with Wordos and Relics in version 2.0.4 of My Same Monsters?
What feature?
Was released with Wordos and Relics in 2.0.4?
Wordos and Relics. This would be spring 2017. Is it?
It's a helpful
Is it Book of
feature.
Monsters?
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Stomp.
No! What was
Thank
it?
you,
What was
Eric.
it?
It was a grid mode for placing monsters.
Oh, I never would have got that. You know, I always feel a little bit of relief when I'm like, oh, I never would have gotten that. The grid mode is very helpful.
It is very helpful.
Though, especially when you're trying to decide whether or not there are any extra grid squares on your islands for decoration purposes.
If you have a really packed
All right, so I'm 1 for 2, down to 50%. All right, what's next?
You can't keep doing these percentages. Sometimes you don't even know how many questions there are.
I know, but you told me there were 4.
Yeah, but... Ugh. Next question is from Ren Callan. How many plant element monsters does it take to wake up Zinth?
How many plant element monsters does it take to wake up Zinth? Oh, yeah. I think it's a trick question. I'm going to say none.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Stomp.
No!
It's 4, and they are Drumpler, Octopus, T-Rox, and Moth.
Rats.
Rats indeed. All right, last question. Mr-098 asks, who are the Ethereal Celestials and name their matching elements?
Ooh. Well, I'm very
I'm sure
happy
you'll
to
get
do
this one, but I feel like it's a lengthy one. You could lose track.
So, Ethereal Celestials.
Yes.
Okay, so, here we go. Plasma's Celestial is Plixie.
Correct.
Shadow's Celestial is Ludwig.
Correct.
Mech's Celestial is Vamp.
Okay.
Crystal's Celestial is Syncopite. And Poison's celestial is Skaratar.
Do you feel like you're missing any?
For celestial ethereals, there are only 5. So
That's what you're going with?
I know that for a fact. There are only 5 celestial.
He's
ethereals.
right.
Yay! And Skaratar is currently 20% off on Celestial Island. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Yes.
Actually, yes, I did.
The-
Because of our Instagram.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
With Tweedlepox.
That was not on Instagram.
Oh.
He doesn't know what's going on.
Okay,
All right.
so now, correct me if I'm wrong, but we've gotten to the activity portion of today's episode.
Yes. So do you want to describe a little bit what we'll be doing today?
Sure. So today's edition of we're calling it Monster Kitchen, right?
Well, yeah, it's Monster Kitchen.
It's Monster
But
Kitchen,
let's
but
wait
it's-
to reveal the whole name until we can.
Until we can
Reveal.
actually sort of unveil it
Yes.
in a specific way. So we thought, in keeping with today's theme of ethereals, okay, so what defines and characterizes ethereals in your mind?
Sort of otherworldly, kind of weird, very ethereal in the true sense of the word.
Mm-hmm. Okay, all valid. You know what it does? You know what characterizes
Oh,
it for
and
me?
slippery as well.
Okay, you're getting warmer.
Yeah.
You know what characterizes it for me?
I'd like to know.
Slime.
Slime,
Slime.
goopy, oozy.
That's right.
Oozy,
Viscous, dripping, drip drop, dribble, dribbity drip drops. So,
And why would? Can you explain why you make that connection?
I make that connection because, as I mentioned earlier, for me, the ethereals have always been sort of poster childed by Ghast, and as the single element monster associated with Plasma, whose elemental sigil sort of looks like that dripping, purpley, bluey goop.
Yes, I really like that elemental sigil.
Yes, so do I.
Ooh, tell
that-
us what your favorite elemental sigil is in the chat. I'd like to know. I think the sigils are all very pretty and go underappreciated.
I would tend to agree.
Mm-hmm.
I like, what's cool about the sigil for the supernatural element of electricity
And what is that?
is it began with just the lightning bolt, and then after the fact, the crackling blue electric energy around it was added.
After what fact?
After the fact.
After
After
the
it was
fact.
released.
Wow.
So it was one way for a while, then it was a different way
Wow.
for a while. Well, while
That's
we wait
cool.
for Eric to bring our ingredients,
Yes.
there was one more question I wanted to answer, so
Sure.
we might as well pop back to
What
it.
question was
and
that?
the question was about why was the first
Right.
celestial?
So Logan Peters again. Logan Peters 89 asked, "Is there a reason Plasma, Shadow, Mech, Crystal, and Poison were specifically chosen as the ethereal elements?"
Actually, this isn't the question that I was
Oh.
thinking of.
Were you talking about Cubwax
Cub
asking
waxes.
why
But I'll answer both while we wait for Eric.
Okay.
So those were chosen because we wanted them to be deliberately things that weren't as common in the natural world
Mm-hmm.
and that represented more exciting. Oh, he's here!
Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Oh.
Don't wait too long to get started. They're already melting.
Okay.
Well then, do you want to just wrap that question up?
Sure. So we were going for sort of elements that maybe weren't immediately a top of mind, but that sort of aligned with the ethereal sort of state of being. And the other one that I was going to answer as well, just while we're finally getting set up, and I'm excited for the title card to come up. So we were just waiting to get that organized. But why was Skaratar the first celestial?
helping.
All right,
Get set up.
Yep, go for it.
Don't mind me.
I will pontificate. Why was Skaratar the first celestial monster to be released on Starhenge? Well, back in 2016, if I'm not mistaken. Well, that was because it was the last element to be sort of discovered in My Singing Monsters. We had already discovered the 5 natural elements at that point. We'd already discovered the supernatural element of electricity. We'd already discovered.
Right.
Now, it could be argued that fire had not yet was the last element to be discovered in My Singing Monsters, but we had special plans for Furnos and didn't want to lead with that one. So we chose Skaratar, the Celestial of Poison, as the first one.
Gotcha.
And that's And that's mine, Celestial.
Oh,
Is Skytar.
I believe mine is Furnos.
Yes, that's correct. You're Cora Flame. I'm Poison's Mark.
Now,
All right, so here we have a bunch of marshmallows.
Yes.
And we're
an olive oil
and olive oil
and
and
some flour.
yes.
Now, Eric said we can't wait too long because
So I'm gonna start. Yeah. So why don't you uncork the olive oil that we have here?
we're making some edible slime today, hence the marshmallows. That seems like a healthy amount.
I'm just gonna get in.
Yeah, get in there.
I'm gonna get in.
We don't have anything to mix, so we're gonna
Ooh,
get in there
It's warm.
as it should be.
Eric, now that you're back, if you could, do you want to get in there?
I do.
Maybe,
know one of us should
Maybe
be
we
dry.
need some napkins
Yes.
as well.
But
just
Eric,
before you go,
would you like to do the big reveal of
Yes,
what we're calling this monster?
Yes,
Kitchen
could you
segment?
please cook? I heard it. Oh man, this is a labor-intensive monster kitchen, but it is
Monster Kitchen
Plasmic Ooze
edition. There
yes,
we go.
named after the constellation that appears in the night sky of Dawn of Fire.
All right, well, thank you, Eric. Now, yeah, really get in there. We gotta do this before it gets too cold.
I'm squishing.
You be squishing.
I'm
Do you need more olive oil?
Yes, I think I do.
Okay. Now, Monster Handler Michael, who is not here today, very kindly found this recipe for us. Now, do you think we should add, we have some decorations as well to make this Plasmic Ooze even more plasmic. We have some sprinkles, nice purple sparkly sprinkles, and then we have red and blue food coloring to give it kind of a purpley vibe.
So the sprinkles are edible? I just wanted to double check.
Yes, of course, of course.
Well, I don't know.
So do you think we should add this in now?
I think we should. Oh,
Okay.
I've got the most oily hands in the
You
world.
do
Look
have
at them.
very
They
oily
are
hands.
glistening.
All right. I don't have a good reference for, you know what? It's got foil on it, doesn't it? We always do this on Monster Kitchen.
I'm gonna keep.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
keep her
kneading.
going.
Oh, it's hot down at the bottom.
Now, slime, of course, a hot topic on
Social
I was,
media.
yeah, I was gonna say YouTube, but really everywhere
look at
on
this.
the internet.
That's an ooze.
That's some ooze.
Oh.
All right.
Ow, 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 ow. It's hot.
Wait, you gotta get
But
it.
but not so hot. My father has no feeling in his hands because he used to work as a cook. So little.
We should have him on Monster Kitchen.
Little trivia.
All right, can you drop it down and I will get food coloring. Oh, I've been blue.
Yes.
I've got.
You're like Tobias.
Yes.
Okay, so now that's in the mix.
And we'll do some red so that it'll turn out
Oh,
purple.
perfect.
I know my colors.
And then presumably at some point we're gonna eat this. Is that the plan?
You got it.
All right, so I'm gonna start mixing. Ooh, that's actually this is gonna turn out great.
This is gonna be very cool. It kind of looks like a galaxy. I've seen galaxy slime videos before. I'm not above slime videos, and I have to say this is looking like that.
Well, I hope
Thank
you're not
you.
above slime
Thank you,
videos.
Eric.
That's what we're doing today.
Heck yeah, Eric, doesn't this look like a nice galaxy slime?
Oh, we're getting there.
We are getting there.
Now, I would like to add some sprinkles, if I may.
Yeah, go for it.
I won't go overboard.
Man,
oh,
it
you
looks-
look like a monster.
It looks like look at this.
An ethereal
this
monster.
is great. Look at these hands.
Wow.
This is like the sky of Ethereal
Very
Island.
cool.
Man, this is actually
This is pretty dope.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, this is cool.
Whoa, you've added the sparkles and now it's really looking great. Okay, so
Very
I wanna
Now, at what point do we add the flour?
that's a great
Is
question.
it feeling really sticky? Do you think let's add a little bit?
It is quite sticky. So
Okay,
yeah.
yeah, let's
so
add a little bit.
add some.
And then
Perfect.
I believe we add sort of as we go. And we have some
Yeah,
napkins.
some sort of sopping up. Oh my goodness. You know what it looks like right now? It sort of looks like rare Rebro's brain.
Oh, you're right. This is
Oh.
ethereal in more ways than one. Do you drop it?
Nope, it's
Oh my
fine.
god, I thought you.
Wouldn't that-
Oh my
oh my
Galvana.
Galvana.
Oh my Galvana, I thought you
Wouldn't-
dropped it.
No, everything is fine, I promise.
Great.
Okay.
That's looking pretty cool.
It is interesting, isn't it?
I'm excited to touch
You
it.
know what? When I was but a child, when I was a young boy, I sort of had an aversion to handling goopy stuff. Would you like to hold it?
I think I would.
Yeah, go for it. Here, I'll give you the bowl, and in the meantime, I will
Oh,
show
this
off.
feels great.
I will show off my hands, which are only getting cooler.
They are. Oh, this actually feels wonderful.
Yeah, it's sort of soothing.
Yeah.
Don't you find?
I think I get it. I think I understand the slime
You-
trend.
and you know what? If we pull it apart and sort of get at the oh, look at that. Here, I'll have some and you'll have some.
Oh, we're splitting it.
There you go.
All right.
All right.
If you feel like yours is too sticky and you want more flour,
You know what? I think I could actually benefit from a little bit more olive oil. So
Okay.
I guess both
can
of us
do
are
that.
compromised at this point.
That's okay. I have paper towel.
So you know what? I'm glad that we do have. Some. Thank you. I'm glad that we do have some napkins here because I think taking a look at the time while I continue to knead the dough. How do you feel about hopping into Monsterpieces?
Yes, I think
And then
that might be good.
we'll sort of conclude the
We'll
episode.
do a big reveal of the slime at the end.
That's right. While I continue to work on it here.
Yes. I'm gonna add more sprinkles.
Good idea.
All right.
So
Our
we've got
first-
Monsterpieces queued up. Hit 'em, Eric.
First one comes from Dudecraft 4.
Ooh, now correct me if I'm wrong, but this is a continuation of an art project that Dudecraft 4 had begun
Yes,
a couple episodes
they
ago.
sent us a human geode, and now we have a human rebro and a human ghast.
I particularly like the pants on Rebro.
Me too. Very clever.
And sort of in keeping with Rebro's reputation as a tech, or I guess in this case I should say mech savvy monster, I like the glasses and sort of the puffy arms emulating it.
Very
Yes.
good. All right, our next one comes from Harhar29. Again, happy belated birthday. And let's see if you can recognize what meme is being spoofed here.
I see it.
Had to do it to him.
Had to do it to him.
All right, this
And,
next one.
and it's also holding its arms in the exact same way as the post
well,
today that
that's
was
the
purring.
point. Oh, that's true as well.
Yes.
Now, this next one comes from Hazelnut Volcano. And they took on our request to make some unseasonals.
Oh, I love the art style of these
Yes,
as well.
I'm very big on the blabbit, unseasonal blabbit.
Yes, the 3 eyes. You know what I really like? I really like Yule. That sort of is like a teen Yule. You know, teen wolf. This
Little
is
rebel.
teen Yule. That's
Reminds
right,
me
it's
of
got-
Rare Schmoochel.
Yes, and I also like Hula.
Yes, Hula's very cool, very
the
different.
The unseasonal. It's got the 2 hoops, just like Rare Hula, but still different, still distinct.
All right, this next one is a design for Epic Octopus by King Koopa 7. Very cool. In clay, of course.
Oh.
Love the eyeball.
Yes, that hair looks sort of anime to me.
Yes, it's going Super Saiyan.
Spiky. That's right. This Octopus is over 9,000.
Wow.
Is that the correct
Yeah.
reference?
Yeah,
Okay,
you
good.
got it, you
Thank
got
goodness.
it.
Oh, don't want to
Maybe
embarrass.
updated.
Don't want to embarrass myself.
Bit of-
Absolutely the correct reference, like 7 years.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
All right, this next one comes from Larry Mantic, and I believe this is a design for a young wisp.
Ah, so if the Ethereals
wisp
had
of
been
a wisp.
around during the time of Dawn of Fire, this is what it might look like if it inhabited the continent. Is that correct?
Very cute.
Well, I think that's awfully cute.
Love
I
the
would agree with you.
braces.
Yeah, that's a great touch.
This next one comes from May, and this one is very special. Can you tell why?
This one is very special because it depicts Skaratar falling into a flower?
It isn't a flower. Can you think of another time that Skaratar was recently depicted in a flower? Our Instagram.
Oh, that's right.
So they remade our Instagram post. So go follow us on mysingmonsters.com. Or no, not that. Go follow us on Instagram.
Although you can get to our Instagram page
Yes.
from
Yes, you
mysingmonsters.com,
can.
which will
But-
reroute you to a
but-
big bubble.
Go to Instagram, follow us. We're at mysingmonsters, and we post new pictures every day. And the pictures we post are actually different than Facebook and Twitter.
That's right, and often they represent an intersection of the human world and the monster world, the sort of exploring pop culture in the human world.
Very cool. So thank you, May.
All right, next up is an awfully cute Dragon
By Midnight.
from Midnight.
Happy belated birthday again. Very sassy dragon. Love it.
Yes, the plumes atop it said, you know, I'm not entirely sure if those are sensory plumes or if they're just purely decorative headgear, but I'll have to double check my Monster Handler notes.
Mm-hmm.
But they're definitely on display in this particular art piece. So
Very much
well
so.
done, Midnight.
Very cute. This next one's from Sasha Just Dancer. Very ethereally appropriate. We've got a socks and a ghast. Very
Aw.
cute.
The socks is sleeping in this particular graphic,
It looks like it.
and then
Slumbering.
I hope Gast isn't planning on playing a trick. And
looks
waking up,
sneaky.
it does look sneaky. Can you give me a little bit more food coloring there, please, Sydney?
Yes, I can.
I want to make sure I get full coverage here.
Yes.
All right. Next up, from Snooky,
Looks like a very.
Supreme Leader Snooky, we've got.
put down.
Oh yeah, sure.
It looks like
Ah!
another Super Saiyan epic report.
Yes. a long-leggedy epic fur
Yes,
corn.
and it's got some sort of wooden pieces on its cheeks there.
Yes.
Very cute.
This one looks awfully serene.
Yes.
Awfully cute.
Now, speaking of
Ooh,
serene,
now we're really getting into it.
we've got it's the return of Dottie
Oh!
from Laser Crystal X with Dottie's gas plush, and look how happy they are.
They're best friends.
Some people thought Dottie was attacking its Kana plush before.
Oh, no.
No, it's friends with all monsters, of course. And
That's awfully cute.
Shout out to Laser Crystal X for that video they uploaded of Dottie saving gas from a cage.
Dottie, we talk about
Great
dogs
dog.
being man's best friend. Dottie is a Ghast's best friend.
For sure.
All right.
Unlikely friendship.
What's next? Or is that it?
Oh, that's our last
That's it. That was our last Monsterpiece. So I have here
You have something.
this, and again I'll show you off my hands one more time as they glisten.
It kind of looks like you've been touching like newspaper ink.
It looks like I'm in a Marvel movie. I think.
A little bit. Are you Thanos?
I don't know. I'm doing something. I don't.
Doing something.
I don't think I could snap if I wanted to. Look.
Ew. Oh, that's awful.
Yeah, it's
Stop.
making an awfully squishy sound.
I
But
hate that.
speaking of awfully squishy sounds,
Here, actually, let's keep your
let's
hands dirty.
why don't we?
Do you want to do a nice big stretch
Sure,
and
we'll
show the
do
people?
we'll do a stretch.
So
Look
here's
at
our
this.
Plasmic Ooze.
Here's our slime. Ooh.
I'm very impressed. I think it looks
It's
pretty
pulling apart.
cool.
Whoa!
Oh!
All right, well, some for you there.
All right, I'll do it. Oh, it's
And
still
then-
so
and
warm.
Then, and then I know I've been really kneading the dough, so to
Very
speak.
good.
Okay, so this is supposed to be edible, so
Oh, that's right.
so I guess the sort of payoff here is that we're gonna put this in our mouths.
All right.
So are you ready?
Cheers.
Oh, okay, yes. I'm gonna keep mine like this, and I'm gonna eat it sort of like an apple, and,
Okay.
and you can sort of chew on yours. So cheers.
Cheers.
Here we go.
Tastes like marshmallow.
Yeah, it's
Oily
pretty good.
marshmallow. Yeah, it's all right.
It's pretty good.
Sprinkles give it a little crunch.
Yeah, it definitely has an interesting consistency.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you for joining
bad.
us.
Thank you for doing this.
Today's edition of
My Seeing Monsters Live.
that's right, our Monster Kitchen Plasmic Ooze edition. So we've got a couple more things to take care of before the episode ends today. One of which is our giveaway.
Mm-hmm.
And Sydney, what are we giving away today?
A rare ethereal of choice. So this is the general giveaway. So anyone in the chat, this is your very last chance to type in !raffle. Eric is about to draw our winner. So,
I'm casting a spell. Yep, as the winner is chosen. I know that.
Oh, I
listen,
see.
I know that it's actually Moobot, but I'm gonna pretend.
Don't pull the curtain.
I thought we said that before. I'm sure Michael has.
Yes.
So, but for the pretense, I'm going to pretend
Yes.
that I am casting a spell and deciding
All
which.
right.
Oh, I'm dropping.
Yes,
goopies
don't do
everywhere.
that.
Okay.
So, Eric, would you be able to draw our winner for today? And our giveaway winner of a rare ethereal of their choice, please whisper message us your friend code when we announce it. It is LifeHacksMax85.
Hey!
Oh,
I can't really clap very. There
Thanks,
you go.
Eric.
Eric's gonna pull the weight there, and clap. This is a very polite clap, but
Congrats,
I'm
Life
very
Hacks
excited
Max.
for Life Hacks Max 85.
Yes.
You just won a rare ethereal of your choice.
Yes.
So we had a lot to get through today.
We hope you enjoyed
with
the
showing
episode.
off the upcoming update from My Singing Monsters composer, as well as the regular sort of regularly scheduled programming for an episode of My Singing Monsters Live.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm glad that we did, and I hope that you are all as excited as we are about that update that's coming out later in May.
Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, etc., so that you know when the update comes out, because we'll post about it.
That's right.
All right, so shall we take it away to our composer son?
That's right. So, as is our wont, we usually end the episode with a composition that was created by a member of the community. In this case, it's Logan Peters, a regular contributor
he's
to
been
My
here a
Singing
lot this
Monsters Live, and this particular one I chose today because I thought it fit with the theme of ethereals. This is the haunting, the otherworldly, the melancholic Alchemy Island by Logan Peters. And until next time that we see you next Friday for next episode of My Singing Monsters Live. Happy monstering!
do